Ladies and gentlemen, we introduced a life-changing thing into the Newsbeat live room. Traders have been just flooding my box asking, how do we do it? What is the Newsbeat earnings? What is the methodology? How do you find it? How do you do these plays? How does one easily execute upon it? With most Wall Street strategies, ladies and gentlemen, you put it in a room in front of 1,500 traders, and everybody's going to have a different methodology, even different entries and exits, even if they're using the same methodology. For example, if somebody is buying a stock like Apple, per se, you're going to have traders entering in potentially at different prices and exiting at different prices due to slippage, quick movement of the stock. That is a common thing. But what if, ladies and gentlemen, what if there was a way to ensure that nobody else would get a better price? Everybody would get the same price, something that is 100% scalable, and something so simple that my 5-year-old is a better trader than 99.9% of the traders out there, yet he cannot read a chart, nor can he write his name within two very parallel, close together lines. We're going to describe how the Newsbeat earnings work, how we find these plays, the mission behind it, how does one easily execute upon this, our algo levels, inspiration, as well as our final thoughts. I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. We're going to show you the methodology behind the Newsbeat earnings, how we find these plays, our mission, and how does one easily execute upon it, including a 5-year-old who now knows how to day trade my earnings picks. That never gets old. I mean, soon he'll be a 6-year-old who will get it as well. Not too soon. He just turned 5. So a beginning 5-year-old. I mean, he was, a month and a half ago, he was 4. Okay. We're going to show you exactly how to do this. By watching this video, you're going to pause on this next slide, read it, and then hit play. Thank you so much for reading that slide. So we have a really, really cool episode for you guys tonight. I've gotten, I don't know, it feels like hundreds of messages, emails, questions. How do you find all these plays? And we have a very special show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about the Newsbeat earnings. And just remember, if you enjoy this content and you want to get a lot of this stuff for free, we have a free open house next week. Link in the description for the free open house, as well as our Newsbeat All-Star Play. Not only that, we have a free psychology book for you guys, our free psychology ebook. Go ahead and click the link in the description if you're interested. Let's get right into it. So what is the Newsbeat earnings? The Newsbeat earnings are basically my take on the evolution of earnings to where earnings are. We all know that strategies evolve. Things that have potentially worked 2 months ago that I have found no longer work anymore. There are strategies that I know of that I would apply intraday in the market that no longer work, and that is just the way the market is. Everybody likes to quote Warren Buffett, but nobody can live like Warren Buffett, because if you are a trader, you don't really have the luxury of just sitting there and holding a position for the next 30, 40 years and hoping it grows into some huge fortune. You still have bills to pay today. You still have things to take care of. And that is sort of the lure. That is sort of the attraction to intraday trading, as well as certain, shorter term overnight tradings, at least compared to Warren Buffett. And what I was trying to do was I was trying to make something that anybody can do. And I know what you guys are already thinking. You're like, how can anybody do this? And like my 5-year-old would probably have the exact same entries and exits as all of you, as you would to anybody else. And I'm going to explain that to you. But just to first show you, Newsbeat earnings have hit a record as of today. We had a lot of great overnights from the other night, including Stamp Long, Zillow Long. Another big one was right over here, Aaron Short. And here are the earnings that we took today prior to the close on our sheet. Again, this is should be interpreted for common shares only, and it's for educational purposes only, of course, in terms of legality. And you read the disclaimer. Okay, so with that being said, you could be up $136,000 potentially, and you're probably sitting there like saying, Mark, that's $100,000 bet per trade. That's right, but what if I have a small account? Well, my son isn't going to be throwing out $100,000 bets. Let's say, for example, that you could only do $5,000 bets. Divide this number by 20. Let's say you could only do $10,000 bets. Then you could potentially, following what we're showing you here, be up $13,610.75. And if you did, 50,000, you could be up 60 whatever, just short of 70,000, right? So just keep in mind that this dollar amount is just more of a reference point. And a lot of traders were asking me, how do we choose these picks? How do we choose these ideas? Because we don't really, even though it seems like a lot here, you could see like it starts at number 6 and it ended up here at 92. So this is actually a total of 86 plays. And that's actually a good, healthy sample size since the beginning of the earnings season. And that, of course, excludes what we took tonight. I mean, we have a couple of real, what appear to be home runs. We'll see by tomorrow between Dropbox and Rogers. Dropbox long, which is, up nice, and Rogers, which is getting destroyed. Um, but the thing is, I wanted it all started in a way to help sort of the bigger traders in the room. And the Newsbeat Live community, we have, as far as I know, again, I don't ask people for statements. As far as I know, we have the most diverse community when it comes to actual buying power. We have the most diverse community when it comes to buying power. I mean, we have people who come in the room with like sub $500 trading accounts. I don't even know how that's possible. Like, they come in with sub $500 accounts, $1,000 accounts, 5,000, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000, 25,000, 30,000, and it goes all the way up, as far as I know, into the 9-figure range. I don't know about 10 and 9 figures, of course, is 100 million plus. So these ideas were originally done to serve that part of the community. That part of the community, people managing 10, 20 million, maybe they could take scalps, but once you start getting to like 40, 50 million dollars in buying power, a lot of the strategies you have to do change. A lot of the strategies you have to do change. And, I learned that, I had to learn that the hard way, that when you reach a certain threshold of buying power, taking a quick scalp no longer is appealing because you're not going to be able to utilize your actual buying power effectively to do so. So the whole point of this was to give you guys the largest companies, literally the largest companies in the world, larger cap companies, multi-billion dollar companies, and, make it pretty much something that is infinitely scalable, infinitely. If you're the world's first known trillionaire, maybe not infinitely scalable, but you get the picture. Nothing is scalable in that sense. But this, as far as any human being I've ever met, including Warren Buffett, if I did, you know, if he was a Newsbeat Live member, this would be infinitely scalable for you. So let's take a look. Um, let's take a look at the next part. So again, really stellar results. How do we find these plays? And this is one of the questions that a lot of people have been asking me. And it goes through a very complex system. What you see is the finished product. Um, I would compare it to a pizza pie, but pizza pie is a lot simpler than the process. There's actually 53 technical parameters that are all graded on a point scale that we go through. And I'm not going to give you all 53 today because I don't want to sit here with you for 6, 7 hours, but I do want to give you a lot of the important ones. And believe it or not, the highest rated play that we actually have, ironically in hindsight, was actually stamps long. And I'm going to share with you some of the things that made it the highest conviction idea. Again, 95.46 to 130.179, just absolute home run. Not only that, we're talking about it in the morning through an option play to take overnight as an overnight in stamp. A lot of people killed it. And if you're not familiar with what stamps did today, That's what stamps did today. That is, it went up 60 points. I mean, it went up, two-thirds in value. So that was one of the biggest plays. So I want to talk about one of the things that we do. So a lot of these companies, and I'm not going to bore you because honestly, what I'm going to show you right now is what you actually don't need to know to make money. Like my son, who can do these trades and will be doing these trades in his own account, not just my account. I can't get over saying that 5-year-olds can do this. Um, he will not know this or need to know this, but if you are near an A plus gap fill trigger, which is right over here, A plus is a methodology I use. Let's just call it a very big trigger because I don't want to do a lesson on A plus triggers right now. You had a you had a gap fill entry at $100.72 that could give you a gap fill to 194.08, where that would be a perfect gap fill in stamps. So when stamps closed yesterday, because the implied movement could have brought it easily over $100.72. I mean, it closed yesterday at 95.46. That actually gave it 12 points on my rating system based on the size of the gap. It actually had a maximum rating on its gap fill potential going all the way back. I mean, just literally look at February 25th, 2019 to understand what I'm talking about. And it actually got a really, really strong gap fill. Not only that, we saw that there was a lot of buying through the upper Bollinger Band yesterday. That only gave it, about 1 point. And again, it's all mathematically done, so it's actually 1 point something, but I'm not going to bore you with those details. Not only that, we looked at a weekly, and the weekly was trading above an exponential 8 and 21 moving average. Not only that, the 200 moving average was a bit far away, 139.17, well, before it gapped up today on the weekly, and that actually added points as well. Not only that, one of the things that we gave it a little over 3 points, let's round it down to 3 points, is that on the monthly, it wasn't remotely close to the all-time highs. It was trading less than half of the way towards the all-time highs, and that actually gave it bonus points because it showed that it could sort of be a comeback stock, especially if it has stellar earnings, and it hasn't been participating in this huge all-time high rally. So those are just a few of the technical parameters that I shared with you. There is a total of 53 different technical parameters. Now comes the next part. How do we find these plays? Now comes the next part of step two. Okay. The next part of step two is actually a bit more interesting. How many people here, raise your hand right now, want to follow conference calls, earnings reports, and the actual earnings projections, the full reports? How many people actually want to do that for every single multi-billion plus dollar company out there before they pick these earnings plays? How many people want to do that? Amy, no. Swamp Boss, no. Christian, no. Kelly, no. Pierre, Wade, Dean, ND, Sharon, Boogie, Carl, Hop, Diana, Cody, no, 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 no. Jeremy, no. John, no, thank you. Ah, he's kind about it. Jackson's like pass. Rito, Ken, Jim, Vishwa, never. Everybody said no. Let me make it easier for you. I, I'll say no. That is not something that I enjoy. It requires tireless hours of work to find these ideas. And that only gives you a certain amount of rating. So what we do is we combine what I feel are a complex number of technical parameters. And by the way, there's trendline methodology as well, or algo trendlines play into this as well. Has to be trading off the most major algorithmic support line going back at least 3 years, which Stamp was doing. And I don't want to start like delving into further technical parameters. So what we do is we literally take the best conference calls and the best technical analysis and put it together into one product. All right. That is what we are doing. And I'm going to show you how to execute upon this. Stay tuned. So the Newsbeat earnings mission was I can give, you know, we run a very large room here at T3. We run a very large room here at T3, right? Everybody always gets a different price. I could give the same name to anybody, and this person makes this much money, this person makes that much money, this person this. And as a general rule of thumb, I feel like if I make money on an idea, like 95 to 99% of people will make money. And if I lose money on one of my ideas, like 95 to 99% of people will lose money. That's a vague guess generalization. I'm not sitting there looking at people's account statements. But what I wanted to do is something that really was brainless. This was my Newsbeat earnings mission. Literally create something so brainless because my son wants to trade. I mean, my son is the most awesome person on the planet. He loves Street Fighter 2. I'm even going to show you a picture of Melnick in a Street Fighter shirt. This was supposed to be special reserved. Check that out, baby. Look at that. That's actually me in a t-shirt, and that's like Ryu and Ken over there. See that? Like they're like on a New York City street. Totally awesome. Okay. Now the webcam is like, Mark, what are you doing with me? He loves everything I do. So he loves Street Fighter, da 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 da, Street Fighter Championship Edition right there, and he loves day trading. He's like his dad, except he's actually good looking. But he wanted a trade. So he'd come to me inside my soundproof room and he would say, Daddy, I want to trade. So my Newsbeat earnings mission, and he wanted to do this for over a year, and that's when I started doing the earnings plays because I'm like, my son goes to school. He can't sit there and in front of the market all day. So he needs to do something that he could throw in a trade before the market opens, and he finishes school like every 5 year old. I mean, here in Jersey, he finishes school at 3 o'clock. Is that standard for you guys? So yeah, he finishes at 3. He comes home. Is that standard for you guys for like a 5 year old to finish at 3? That's when my son finishes school. Comes home, comes into my room, and wants to place a trade. So he can trade in the morning, not after the market opens, but he could put it in order before the market opens, and he could put in another order before the market closes. So check it out. He can't trade at 9:30, but he could go before 9:30. He can't. He can trade at 4 or put in an order before 4 because he's home at 3. So my mission, the Newsbeat earnings mission, was to create a methodology that would help my son become a day trader, and he's going to become a fully funded day trader. And he knows how to do it on my account, which I let him practice with. So now I'm going to show you how to do it like I show a 5 year old, which is interesting. So I'm going to just pull up my live trading software here. And again, if you like this trading software, Newsbeat Live members get access to this. It's inside your Newsbeat portal, exclusive for Newsbeat Live members. Take advantage of this. So, for example, I'll just show you one, and you have to do it for all of them, right? So, for example, let's say you wanted to do these names, and we'll just do a name that everybody knows, Dropbox, right? So it's coming towards the end of the day. It's 3:30, 3:15, 3:45, whatever time of day. Literally, just type in Dropbox, check it out, and just do this. Now, after you type in Dropbox, you're doing common stock here. I wish I could zoom it in more, but whatever, just focus on it. There's a little button right here that looks like a dollar sign, right? Click it. So let's say you click it, and you don't have to do 100,000 per trade like is on the sheet. Let's say that you could only do 10,000 per trade or 5,000. It doesn't, let's say $5,000 in common stock, which is not a lot, right? Comparatively to what some people have, I'm not counting the money in your wallet, right? Let's say you do $5,000. So look, I'll show you again. There's a little dollar sign here to the left of the word venue, to the right of the word quantity, above the up and down arrows, right over there, a little box where my arrow is. You click that, you type in $5,000 and you hit OK, and it automatically adjusts the shares to $5,000. Now, your order type is market, and your timing instead of day is on close. So you have a market on close order ready, and you just go ahead and you click the buy button. And what that's going to do is the closing price of Dropbox is where you're going to get filled. This is what I meant before by everybody getting the same price. So if you actually look at it here, Dropbox closed at 1872. If 100,000 people out there, went ahead and put on this market on close order, wherever the closing price is where those fills would happen. So you would be all filled at 1872. Whether you put in 5,000, 50,000, 500,000, or $1 million, you'd all be in at 1872 in this example here, right? Okay. And that's Dropbox traded 7 million shares today. I mean, traded a lot, right? So what happens is the next day, um, this timing thing is going to change to on open instead of on close. And what you're going to do is tomorrow morning, what my son will be doing tomorrow morning is he's going to come in and he's going to literally he's going to have his preset amount of shares that he bought. He's going to go ahead and do market on open, and he's just going to click sell before the market opens, and then he's going to go to school. That is it. How many people out there think that you could do that? And you could do that with as many names as you want. I showed you Dropbox. I'm not going to show, well, this is how you do 30 names. No, you just literally do it with every name. It is brainless. And the kid's a genius, unlike his father, but it is absolutely brainless. How many people think you could do that out there? How many people right now think you could do that out there? Well, if you can do it out there, this can be a reality for you. This can be a reality for you. Um, this can be a reality from you. I don't want to just show you the winning days. I want to show you, I'll show you everything. And again, soon this is only going to be located in your portal. It will be exclusive for Newsbeat Live members only. I want to highlight the biggest losses here. We got a $12,700 loss. Let's do the three biggest losses. 12,000, because I can't stand people who just show you the good and not the bad. It's one thing. I want to show you the maximum amount of pain I did, that 100,000 bet could potentially cause you. Okay, let's leave it like that. $12,732. Right here we got $10,533. And what is the next biggest loss? I see a 4,700. I see. Is that it? 4,700, 98. Is that the third largest one? No, here's a 49.87. I want to. Oh, here's a 53.40 on Datadog. Okay. Oh, here's a 65.42 on Repligen. Okay. So the total of our three biggest losers is 65.42 plus 10,500. Let's just call it 17,000. I'll just round down on all of them. 17,000 plus 12,732. That's 20. Let's call it $30,000. I'll round it up. All right. So $30,000 would have been your three largest losers in total. And they're spread out. They're not like obviously back to back. Three largest winners, 38,000. We got a 15,000. We got an 18,000. We got another 15,000. We got a bunch of 9,000s. Let's just call it 38,000. Let's just call it 15,000 and another 18,000. Let's call it 18,000, 38,000, and 15,000, right? So your three largest winners in this case would have been over around $71,500 compared to 30,000 on the losers, and then obviously you'd be up a lot more overall on all the other trades in between. Now remember, that's a $100,000 bet. So let's say you're doing $10,000 a bet. Your three largest losers would be $3,000, while your three largest winners would be $71,500. All right. And I rounded really down on the upside. So that just gives you sort of that example. And if you're doing $1,000, you know, add another decimal point, you could be up potentially $1,361. If you're able to do what I showed you, this can be a reality for you. This is how my son is going to become a day trader. What does my son like? Street Fighter 2, day trading, and T3 Live. What are my son's three like? You want to know what my son's T3 likes are? Street Fighter 2, day trading, and T3 Live. That's what my son likes. And how am I going to get my son into trading? Exactly what I showed you. And if you want to do this for free, I mean, again, this is my thought. There's several trading rooms, intraday trading rooms. There's several earning services out there. Take advantage of all of them. Like, uh, don't make it one or the other. If you are doing well in a service, sign up for it. If you see yourself growing in a service, take advantage of it. Now, right now, these Newsbeat earnings plays are part of your room subscription. We give you so much in the Newsbeat Live Room subscription that we just added it. We never even promised this to you. We just, here you go, just added value to what you already purchased. Not only that, we sit there and we do group coaching all the time. I make myself available, accessible. Ask anybody in the room how often I'm available for you. Usually I'm there 7 days a week. More often than not, I'm there 7 days a week, spending hours and hours and hours trying to help you get to the next level. So that is how step 4, one easily executes upon it. Again, if you want these levels for a week for free, if you want to see what we do on the intraday side for free, link in the description. Do you want my e-psychology book, the hottest free psychology book on the internet for trading for free? Link in the description. Now I want to share with you the next part, which is inspiration, because I believe inspiration is what gets you to the next level. And I'm going to share with you an email that came in today. Again, I'm not a fan of the testimonials that were written 2 years ago or what was said yesterday. I mean, I would rather share with you something. This thing was written longer than 58 minutes ago, but that's when I screenshotted it. Today at 6:13 p.m. Eastern Standard. And it says, just a quick update. I started with $2,000 about a month ago. Using all the various strategies you teach, as well as your overnight plays, modified via options, my account is now $15,000. A 600% return. It's more than 600%. Kind of ironic because he said edited with corrected math. And that's not true either. And he actually made another mistake, which I'm going to point out. He says, thank you so much for everything, my friend. And he says, this is the part which, okay. He says, this is the greatest thing to happen to me since McDonald's brought back the McRib. Really? I mean, you couldn't use the word like sliced bread. Okay, allow me to retort. I apologize. Teach their own. So this is what is inside your McRib, okay? All right, you ready for this? I just want to point out it's azodicarbonamide. I don't even know what on earth that is. I think they make it in a lab. In Australia and Europe, as a food additive, it's banned. In Singapore, the use of this can result in up to 15 years in prison and a fine of $450,000. The United States permits the use of it at levels at 45 parts per million. That is what's inside your McRib. Okay. Now, I'm glad you're up over 600% in your account, but this is not the greatest thing since the McRib. You want to know, falling on my face and breaking my nose is the greatest thing since the McRib as well. I mean, you don't really need to try hard to get something that is the greatest thing ever since the McRib. Just wanted to point that out, but I did find it very inspirational that that the gentleman was able to really grow his account like that. And again, that just came in today. I didn't ask for it, just sent it in. And it really follows up on the video I did yesterday, or was it yesterday, right? The small account. Why the Newsbeat live room, if you have a small account, this is really the only place on the world that really is designed to help traders with a small account. If you have a $2,000 account, $3,000 or 2,000 like the gentleman who wrote me the email earlier, what are you going to do exactly? How can you really grow it? Well, that gentleman grew it to $15,000 in about a month. Again, take advantage of everything we do here. That is my inspiration. And my final thoughts for you is I have been on Wall Street going on my 21st year. Things that are too good to be true generally are. That is why I have to make sure maybe I would have an easier time learning a new strategy than someone else with less experience or somebody who doesn't dedicate their life to trading like I do. That is why it was important to me that a 5-year-old, you know, I know what some of you guys are thinking, using your son as a guinea pig, right? Ha 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 ha. Well, that's part of like Melnick mind control on him. But all kidding aside, if a 5-year-old can do it, I humbly believe that anybody can do it. It is the easiest strategy since McDonald's put out the McRib sandwich. It is the easiest strategy ever. And everybody gets the same price. There's no thinking. There's no, what do I do here? There's no, how long should I hold? There's no, where should I enter? It's in, it's out, repeat if necessary. In, out, repeat if necessary. In, out, repeat if necessary. It's like a caveman sex manual. I hope you guys enjoyed the Newsbeat show. Happy trading, make money. And I will see you guys tomorrow on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Don't forget about the link in the description for the free open house next week. Come check out these earnings plays for free. Don't forget about the psychology ebook. Come check that out and download it for free, whether you come to the free open house or not. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.